How was someone able to fly a drone into a football stadium? Why did the players leave the field? And why was a police helicopter part of the response? We're going to answer all these questions soon, but also let you know why it just got a little harder to fly in the specific location, or rather, easier to trace those who carry out these kind of flights. Players at Brentford Community Stadium in the UK taking part in a Premier League football match between Brentford and Wolves left the field of play due to what was described as an unofficial drone flying over the stadium. The match was halted during the 28th minute and did not start again for about 20 minutes. The decision to halt the game was not made by officials in terms of being overly concerned about the safety of such a small drone entering the airspace, but instead following the Premier League official policy to halt any game if a drone is flown close to the action, although of course the actions of the operator are wholly irresponsible and certainly became illegal. So firstly, I hear DJI drone owners the world over shouting at the screen. How did it happen? Surely a major sporting event would have protections within the DJI flight restriction system to stop this kind of flight. Well, it appears the stadium in question, the Brentford Community Stadium, home of the Premier League team, did not appear on the DJI geofencing system. The stadium, which stands just outside of London's restricted airspace, but within Heathrow's controlled traffic region, was not identified as a major stadium on the DJI software and therefore require any form of unlocking to fly there. This has now been updated on the DJI map with a temporary flight restriction. Perhaps the fact that Brentford were promoted to the Premier League more recently means they were left off this mapping, although others such as Leeds and indeed Reading FC, who are in the Championship having been a Premier League side before, are already on there. This, of course, only covers DJI drones and it does not stop the drone being flown, but it does give a potential source of data when the pilot is required to unlock that zone. So there would have been a start point for police to look into for this type of situation. Obviously, if you were to unlock one of these zones and carry out a legal flight, then you are arguably more actively involved as well. This doesn't stop the other brands of drones and FPV quads, etc., but as it was a DJI Mini drone, one of the most popular drones in the world right now, it's worth looking at. Looking at the airspace restrictions around the stadium, you could certainly fly a drone like the DJI Mini 2 perfectly legally within the UK drone code, although I would argue such a flight too close to the stadium itself would raise significant exposure to scrutiny under Article 241 of the Air Navigation Order, which is essentially wide-reaching and would be used in any potential prosecution over and above anything else. You can be flying under 400 feet and within the main drone rules and still be deemed a dangerous flight. Check out our UK drone rule series, linked in the description below for more on this. Obviously, once the drone crossed the threshold of the stadium itself, any argument of the flight even being theoretically legal vanishes quicker than the drone and operator did. Flying over crowds of uninvolved people, even with a sub 250 gram drone, is just simply not allowed and highly irresponsible. Looking at some of the footage and fan captured pictures, it would be impossible to have retained visual line of sight, which when using a drone that has no obstacle avoidance, such as the Mini 2, is just plain reckless in my opinion. Back to the incident itself and a quick look at the response. A local Twitter account run by PC Matt Hero, called the Met Police Brentford FC account, confirmed in 2 tweets the following. For those asking about the drone, as Peter G said, it is PL or Premier League protocol for players to leave the field of play if one is sighted. The drone then went out of sight and both clubs agreed to restart the match. The helicopter after was National Police Air Service searching for the operator, unfortunately with no luck. Follow-up inquiries will now be made by local Hounslow offices. Just before recording this, Geeksvana reached out to the Met Police press office, who kindly confirmed that there were no further updates beyond the local Twitter account at present. So we're left with a situation that creates a few areas which perhaps need mopping up. Certainly looking at the flight path recorded on camera and reports by fans, the drone operator was intentionally looking to fly over the game rather than it being a potential flyaway or error on the pilot's part that was quickly corrected. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this story. I know that from speaking to many of our viewers and Discord members, this is something the UK hobby are very upset about and do not support. If this story develops, we will keep you all informed, but in the meantime, why not take a look at this video explaining Article 241 and why every UK drone flyer in the UK needs to know all about it. Sean out.